At the center of the Roman Empire was the capital city of Rome. From the 18th century before Christ to the 1st century, Rome grew from a collection of shepherds' huts to an enormous city. Rome was built on Palatine, one of the 7 hills that lay the Tiber River. The Etruscans lived in Rome during the early days of empire. They were the first people to plan and lay out Rome's city streets and build its seawards. After the Etruscans, the growth in Rome was completely unorganized until Julius Caesar ruled from 59 to 44 before Christ. He developed a detailed plan which was carried out by August and his son-in-law Agrippa. Our map represents the following elements: the city of Rome in that age, the geographical places, the compass rose, the scale, the icons and technologies, the people, the flora and the fauna. Trajan's Column. Trajan's Column was erected in 113 after Domini. In honor of Emperor Trajan, it was located at then just completely Forum of Trajan and was hemmed in by buildings. The column including its base is 42 meters tall. This was exactly the height of the hill that stood at that site. It had been leveled to create an open space for the construction of Trajan's Forum. We include this geographical place because the column commemorates the Trajan's victory in Dacia. Pompeii. Pompeii is a city of ancient Rome that was buried by the great eruption of Vesuvio in the year 79 before Christ. The consequence of these acts with such a violence. We include this geographical place because the city buildings with such damage represent one of the main consequences of erosion of Vesuvio. The Pantheon. The Roman Pantheon is a Roman temple dedicated to all gods of pagan Rome. The brick stems on the side of the building reveal it was built and dedicated between after Dominic 118 and 125. The Emperor Hadrian built the Pantheon to replace August's friend and commander Marcus Agrippa's Pantheon of 27 before Christ, which burned to the ground in 80 after Domini. We include this geographical because it is the most preserved and influential building of ancient Rome. Palatine Hill is an atmospheric area of towering pine trees, majestic ruins, and memorable views. According to the legend, this is where Romulus killed his twin and found Rome in 753 before Christ. We include this geographical place because it is the central of Rome's 7 hills. Colosseum. The Roman Colosseum, or Coliseum, originally known as the Flavian Amphitheater, was commissioned in after Domini 72 by Emperor Vespasian. It was completed by his son Titus in 80, with later improvements by Domitian. We include this geographical place because it is the most famous monument to have survived from the classical war, built nearly 2,000 years ago for the purpose of hosting building gladiators games. Compass rose. Rome has a latitude of 41.9 and a length of 12.48. Rome is a city situated on the eastern banks of the river Tiber. Has a geographic position of 41 and of 12. Rome lies to the west of Apennine Mountains that forms the backbone of Peninsular Italy. Being close to the Tyrrhenian Sea, Rome experienced a Mediterranean climate. Scale. Distance. What is particular interest in that Rome, at odds with most other Italian cities, is built on a relatively low ground rather than a dominant high ground. The lowest point of the city is at the Pantheon. The highest is Monte Mario Hill. An interesting comparison may be had with the geography of ancient Pompeii, which although close to the sea was essentially built on the side of a mountain, on a spur of lava, flows with a dominant position over the sea and the river Sarno. Icons and technology. As technology, we have an aqueduct was built to carry water. It was like a bridge built on arch. On top was a stone channel to carry water. The Romans used aqueducts to supply towns with water from springs, rivers or lakes. The aqueduct slowed downhill towards the town, because water will only flow downhill. Icons. The army of ancient Rome was a formidable fighting force, well disciplined, organized, and supplied with an array of effective and valuable weapons. The sword and spear were the infantryman's main weapons, and the spectacular military success of the Roman legions took Europe and the Near East lay in disciplined battlefield application and relentless training in the use of these weapons. People. King Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar was a great general and important leader in ancient Rome. During his lifetime, he had held just about every important title in the Roman Republic, including consul, tribune of the people, high commander of the army, and high priest. He suggested new laws, most of which were approved by the Senate. He reorganized the army. He improved the way the provinces were governed. We include him because he was the first Roman army commander to invade England, which he did in 55 before Christ and again in a year later. Flora. The flora of the lowlands of central and southern part of Rome is typical Mediterranean, with the presence of olive, orange, lemon, palm, and citron. In the southern area are also characteristic fig, date palm, pomegranate, and almond trees, also sugar cane and cotton. The vegetation of Apennines is similar to that of Central Europe, with plenty of chestnut trees, cypress and oaks on the lower slopes, while areas at higher elevation are covered with forests of pine and fir. Fauna. The fauna is purer than one of the other similar areas of Europe. In the Alpine region inhabit, although not very abundant, marmots, chamois, and ibex. The bear, which was in the past very abundant, is virtually extinct, while the wolf popular in the mountain regions as well as fox, of which there are large numbers of copies.